Hey guys, I'm Joyce. Welcome to my video diary. Today is Wednesday, February 14th. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, 2024. So today I'm talking about 5 things that we can do to improve our motivation and energy. This came up because my sleep schedule got off. In an attempt to be an adult and responsible, I ended up staying up until 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to complete some online shopping and typing and distributing meeting minutes. I decided after that the more responsible thing to do would have been to go to bed. But I am still recovering from that, actually. Well, and last night, actually this morning, 12:45 this morning, I left the house to take a friend to the airport. Friend who was going, I imagine she's there now, to Costa Rica. Anyway, so that's how this all came up, because I'm kind of a wreck today and yesterday. I'm just really running on empty and all of that. No motivation, no energy. So, of course, I was thinking about sleep, but there are 5 things in my experience that affect motivation and energy, and they intersect each other. One can affect another, and I don't think it's any particular order that they should be done in or that will help you the most. I think if you can pick one of these 5 things that seems like the easiest for you, or that you're the most interested in. Starting just somewhere is going to help with the rest. It's going to give you enough of a lift to get you going, to get some momentum going. So anyway, the first thing on my mind is sleep. I mean, that is my top priority, is sleep. I have noticed that affects me the most. So I've also noticed that I need 9 hours to function my best. 9 hours of sleep. So I've written some notes. I want to check this. Yeah, so I already talked about that, about how my schedule got screwed up. And now it's 11 o'clock at night, which is not the schedule I've been trying to keep. And that's actually that's a topic for another day. But I believe I did sleep today, during the day, quite a bit. I believe by tomorrow morning when I wake up again, I believe that I will be back to my normal functioning. So that's number 1, is sleep. That's number 1 for me. Food and fuel for your body. And you may not know this, but your brain is part of your body. We talk about our brains as though they're this separate thing, but they're not. They are another organ in our body. And it needs just as much attention as the rest of our health. Anyway, so there's that. Referring to my notes, sorry. As far as food goes, now I started I guess you could call it a food journey. I don't know. It was about 20 years ago, and I have talked about this previously. But the thing that I started with, it's been very gradual. I traded my 2% milk for skim milk. And I even did that gradually. I was drinking like a gallon of milk a week. And so when I started this, I bought a half gallon of 2% and a half gallon of skim. and I mixed them together into a gallon. And then I believe I went from that directly to skim. And then later on, I went from skim to non-dairy milk. That was not part of my original plan, but the more I learned, anyway, I was encouraged to go that route. So, I mean, you can go very, very gradually. I know food is a really tough one for a lot of us, really tough. I also did later on, this was just several years ago, not as long as 20 years ago. I did the Whole30. It's billed as a Whole30 diet. I prefer to call it an experiment. It's for 30 days. I should add this to the links in the description. I've already created a bunch of links to put in the description, and that was not one of them. So I'll add that too. But the Whole30 diet is about determining if you have food sensitivities. And one thing, as I was going through that Whole30 diet, I kept telling myself, this is just for 30 days. It's only 30 days. It's just 30 days. I can do this for 30 days. And that really helped me get through it. The thing that I had the most trouble with was sugar. For 2 weeks, I was like, oh my God, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. I can do this for 30 days. And after 2 weeks, I was good. I was fine. It took me 2 weeks to get over that, and I did not go back. I did not go back to sugar, refined sugar. I mean, I still eat dates and bananas and, things like that. And they have the sugars in them that we get table sugar from. But it's the whole plant. It's the whole food. So it's not as concentrated. Anyway, I will put that in the description below as well. So food, one thing that I would recommend if you want to try the food route first, is to either add one thing that is nutritious, more nutritious than what you normally eat, or take away one thing that is not serving your body well, that is not good fuel for your body, whatever that is. I mean, I could give you a bunch of examples, but you probably know by now things that are really good and really bad for your body. And you could even do both. You could add one thing that's better for you and take away one thing that's not good for you. Whatever. I mean, just start simple. I do want to suggest that as far as more nutritious things, I'll refer to Dr. Fuhrman. He calls them G-bombs: greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, and nuts and seeds. Seeds and nuts. So those are G-bombs. So if you could add one of those things to your diet, you're going to improve your functioning, even if it's just a little bit. Third thing, so first on my list anyway, is sleep. Second is better fuel for your body and your brain, which is part of your body. Mindset. That's the third thing that I came up with, is mindset. And I can't go into that very much because I don't speak about it very well. But mindset is what I have been working on. It's something that I have learned from Brooke Castillo of the Life Coach School, podcast. That's where I found her, was in her podcast. And basically, the way she teaches mindset is that we have thoughts, and generally about our circumstances, but our circumstances are not our thoughts. Our circumstances are just the facts, like the sky is blue, or there's a printer on my desk, and then there's a pillow, and there's laundry, and all of that stuff. Those are just facts. Now, my thoughts about that are, this is a mess. That's an example thought. Anyway, so what she teaches is that our thoughts create our feelings. When I think this is a mess, I feel like frustrated with myself. I feel maybe depressed. But our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings are what drive our actions. If I feel overwhelmed because I'm thinking this is a mess, I'm probably not going to do anything. It's going to drive inaction on my part if I'm feeling overwhelmed. And your actions create your results. If I'm thinking this is a mess, and I'm feeling overwhelmed by thinking this is a mess, and so I don't do anything because I don't know where to start, then the result is I have a mess. You know, although that is subjective, that's not a circumstances, but the printer is still there, the laundry is still there, none of that changes. Anyway, I'm putting links in the description below for all of this stuff. So mindset is the third thing for me. So thinking, feeling, acting, and creating results. Fourth thing that I've noticed really affects me is the condition of my home, meaning if I have clutter and if I have things that are in disrepair, things that aren't working, that just, or they're not done, just unfinished projects, that it just really, it takes up brain power unnecessarily. You know, seeing these things, they just register, even on a subconscious level. Seeing things that don't need to be there, like clutter. And the things that, they're just constant reminders. It's like, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do that. That needs to be done. You know, just constant reminders. And it's even a low-grade stress, you know. Your cortisol stays high all day. If, you know, when you're constantly, you know, surrounded by clutter and reminders that you have to do things, or reminders that you haven't done things. So yeah, it just, for me, it takes up valuable brain power. And this is something that I'm still working on. It's also been shown to, clutter in your home has also been shown to create depression, and it affects your immune system. It can really bring down your immune system. I mean, if you get stressed out about all of this stuff, stress in general, but clutter is a source of stress for most people who have clutter. It's one of their sources of stress. And that can make you sick. It really can. It can really drag you down. So sleep, better food and fuel for your body, better mindset, and a clean, tidy home. These things all help with motivation and energy. And the last thing I'll mention is exercise. This is the one thing that I have the most trouble with, is the exercise, just keeping it up. I'm active all day. I mean, I don't normally sit down. I think, well, making this video is the first time I have sat down all day. And like I said, it's a lot. Well, I was sleeping. I was sleeping a lot today. I did catch up on sleep. But anyway, yeah, usually once I get up in the morning, I don't sit down. This is the only chair I have. This is the only chair I have. So this is the only space I sit down in. Anyway, going on too much. Okay, I'm trying to look. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes, sorry. But yeah, I don't do any specific exercise. Now, while I was looking for links to give you for more in-depth research, if you want to do it, I came across a video that I had watched before. I don't know how long ago, it was years ago. But this woman talks about she's a scientist, and she talks about brain-changing effects of exercise that she discovered in herself. So I will link that below too. And after watching that, I'm like, okay, I'm convinced this is something that I need to do to help my motivation and my energy level. So anyway, again, links to all of this stuff below, other things that you may want to look into, motivation and energy, how to increase those things, sleep, food, exercise, mindset, in a clear, spacious home. So hopefully the links will help you some if you're interested in this. And I am going to go to bed and get back on my regular schedule. So talk to you guys later. Good night.